Yeah, I hear that. Let's see. Y'all look beautiful today. It's nice. Nice to be in the presence of such beauty. Let's see, is this thing working or not? Hang on. Un momento. Let me check on that. I don't see it on yet.
Anything specific you wanted to talk about?
Okay, let me double check this. We may have a problem. We may have to redo it. Hang on. Let me see.
Me?
Go ahead. Keep talking.
No, you're
Oh, no.
you lead.
Oh yeah, we're on. Okay, it's coming on.
We can talk about everything.
Absolutely.
All right, here you go. All right, I'll see you ladies later on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. So hello everybody. Welcome to the Ascension Records and a spontaneous episode. We basically just decided 10 minutes ago that we're going to do it with Samantha. And here we are. So welcome. And here we go. We are ready to speak about anything. We have no schedule. We haven't spoken prior to the show. So here we are. Welcome, Samantha.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, it's like we've seen each other. We're Facebook friends. You messaged me and it was like, what, something's here. There's no coincidence. So here we are.
So how are you doing those days? Intense energies and a lot of purging for a lot of people and new alignments and soul contracts ending just like that. Extreme
Really
shifts.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yes. So many shifts, so many changes, very fast, very quickly. I was just talking to another soul sister yesterday about just how I think the end with all of the accelerations right now, yeah, you can feel how fast, just like you said, things end, shifts, contracts, court. I mean, everything energetically is happening really, really fast.
Absolutely.
And if you get in your mind, it's like, wait. Is there more? Do I have to do more? What's like, it was a little bit weird at first because, we're kind of used to this whole process. I'm like, oh, it takes time, but it's really fast now.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's incredible. And what I find fascinating is basically I was shown how quickly everything shifts. And not only that, but sure, we always have the free will, but it pretty much from now on, it doesn't matter which path we take, it will be the highest aligned. And things which were highest aligned for a very long period of time, and we felt like, okay, that's it. That's what I'm going to do in this incarnation or for a very, very long time. Nope, just like that. Things shift and change, and no, forget it. It's not, highest aligned anymore. Very interesting.
That is so true. Right now that you mentioned that. And even just yesterday again, there was another person that was, she was like, oh, this is it. This is where I am, or this is where I thought I was going to stay here forever. And now it's like, I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like it anymore. Um, and yeah, like all the things that we thought, plans,
Exactly.
visions, all of that is changing.
Goes out of the window. Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, it can be partner, it can be, what your highest calling is. It just goes out of the window like that, and you're, again, just, by yourself, and it a bit like starting all over again. But what I notice more and more, it's much easier to recognize that the things that you learned as a human, as an ego experience, you recognize very quickly how now you can be utilizing them for the higher dimensions. It's very easy,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it's very visible. For example, I don't know, you learned languages, or you were an artist, and these things you can kind of take, and you feel it, that it's that's it basically.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, well, it's we're being redirected, and it's like, nope, no choice. This is their highest. Your mind made you kind of think and believe, oh no, this is gonna be great, or this is gonna be the highest. And it's part of for me, it's been like, don't hold on, don't attach to anything because it can just change like that, or you can kind of be redirected, maybe in the same path, but it's never going to look exactly like you thought,
Thought, yes, never.
you
It rarely
know.
does. Yeah, and that's yeah,
So,
absolutely. I do experience the same. And basically, once you take this one step in the highest aligned direction, then the rest dissolves. Nothing else is available. The the choices that you thought you had before you made that step, they're gone because that's your highest aligned. So yeah, very interesting times. Very interesting times. Intense.
mm, very much. I feel like more and more people are starting to feel that. More and more people, awake, not awake, open, like their whole world is starting to shift and change so much. And
Yeah,
so it's really interesting to just watch, and just really interesting to just kind of see, observe um, what's going on, and just open yourself up because everything has a purpose, you know.
yeah,
So yeah, very interesting times. Um, just the beginning. It's the beginning of it all. It's the beginning of just um, a lot of things. And we say that, and it's like, well, some of us have been feeling this a little bit longer. Um, but just like you said, we're being redirected right now in so many different ways that we haven't gotten started fully yet. Like, yeah, we're starting and we've been doing this for a while, but there's so much more
yeah,
that we're in the preparation of. It's
yeah.
it's
I
quite
guess
fascinating.
absolutely. I guess we need a bit of yeah, of time to just trust in the invisible, and that cannot be seen yet. We're not used to that, and that takes a while.
Mm-mm. No, no, we're so used to having things aligned prior, the controlling, the planning, everything. The, and even when we were young, we're like, oh, what's your, or maybe younger, where we've been kind of programmed to kind of see in advance, have like a 2 year or 5 year plan or goals or all of these different things. And it's like, it can't. Like you have a basic idea. Like, yeah, yeah, we're gonna be in higher vibration, but what that's really gonna look like, it can look like anything and everything all at the same time. Um, So yeah, this control of like controlling your reality, controlling the future, quote unquote, goes out the window because you're creating it right here, right now, in this moment. There is no other moment. Everything is just happening right now. And so the future's now, right? It's like everything is happening right now. And just going with the flow with it all. Trusting, like you said, trusting is a huge one for every single one of us, trusting that everything is aligning right now with everyone and with everything that needs to be aligned right now. That even though we can't see it or even perceive it right now, everything is aligning so that, you know, we can all work together and collaborate and support one another in so many different ways.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. A lot of opportunities are opening and extremely fast. People coming together. I notice people coming together, and I mean, like me and you, basically. I dropped you a message, you answered, and that was yesterday. And today I asked you how you were. You said you were better, and I was like, well, I'm better. How about how about the show? And that's it. And yeah, I mean, in 15 minutes here we are. Yeah, absolutely. And it took me a lot
that's
of
how
time.
fast. That's how
Yeah,
fast this is.
yeah, absolutely. Our new realities are really, really fun, but yeah, when something come up to be purged, then it's not that fun. But we're kind of getting better at it. I know this. Also, the clearing happens much faster, much, much faster.
Hmm hmm
Yeah.
what were you feeling? What have you been feeling lately?
Oh, it was very interesting. It was uh, personally, I went through a lot of physical upgrades. I mean, basically, for the past 2 weeks, I was absolutely sick. Absolutely sick, extreme headache, extreme headache. Very, very physical stuff. I felt nauseous all the time. So that took a while, and of course, you support the body with whatever natural things, but you cannot avoid it. You just keep on going and just take magnesium to relax the muscles, the body as much as you can, so it can do its thing, basically. So very physical stuff. A lot of also like revisiting old things. And partially it was like, oh, okay, I've cleared that. You just realize, oh, wow, okay, that doesn't trigger me anymore. It was like a huge revisiting of big karmic things that used to be karmic. So yeah, it was intense, not fun, but yeah, here we go. We keep on
Yes, it's
going.
like when right, we keep on going, and when you're past that, and you can feel, you know,
Yeah,
the
just
shift, the lightness. I can breathe. I can, the body feels so much better.
absolutely.
Absolutely. So
It's like
it's
going
all worth
from.
it.
Yeah,
It
go ahead.
makes it
Sorry,
all
that was
worth
like.
it. And I feel for me, it's just like the more that I get to experience the difference afterwards, the more willingly I am to go into it the next time it comes around. Like, oh, here we go again. But I know that as I open up and I surrender, afterwards, it's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
even better
awesome.
than
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
you know. So, um, the muscles for me have been were also going through it. I actually had to like massage my calves and put my legs up because there was quite a bit going on there with the muscles. Also horizontal most of the time too. And Yeah, I mean, we definitely spend a lot of time in bed. I think we've all
For
we've
years.
all experienced that. You know, just laying, just sleeping, just allowing the body to do everything that we haven't allowed the body to do for years. You know, it's like the body's been trying to do a lot of these things, but for years we were just not knowing, we were resisting, we were trying to do life.
Okay.
And now it's like, nope, you gotta just let your body do everything that it's been trying to do for so long. I feel like that's part of the reason why we spend, you know, a lot of time doing nothing and just being in bed and just laying in bed because it's almost like the body has to catch up at some level to just everything that it's been trying to do for so long and just
Since birth.
surrendering since birth. Pretty much. Yeah, yeah. Quite interesting. It's really, really interesting how the whole body is now taking over with everything, just clearing and purging and releasing and reprogramming. And it really is, you know, and sometimes I say this and sometimes, you know, it's a little bit hard to really grasp, but it's like you don't have to do anything because the body is doing everything. You just have to let go and surrender. You just have to let go and just literally just step back and lay back for the body to do everything that it already knows how to do. You know, when you really feel into it, it can be that easy. We just sometimes are, you know, don't think that there's more, think that they have to do more, have to know more, or have to get caught up in the busyness or the knowing of everything. But your body already knows so much. So you know, going back to that trusting in your body, trusting, letting go, just allowing. Um, yeah, that's one of the biggest things that's been coming through of like trusting your body to know what it already knows how to do,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
surrendering and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, once we start listening really to the consciousness of the body, then it's much easier. Then we just need to support. We don't have to do much, really. Allowing. And I noticed that, at least in my reality, a lot of people start realizing that traditional medicine doesn't work anymore. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a painkiller or it doesn't matter what it is. People start noticing that it doesn't work anymore because, of course, these chemicals were made for carbon-based bodies. We basically have new bodies, and yeah, that they find quite nice actually. That people really start turning away from the pharmaceuticals and start searching for natural remedies and alternatives, which is great to see.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You know, and it's interesting how everything is happening so organically that people are starting to feel more of their bodies and the effect of something that, you know, they're used to taking or they're being told to take. All of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, you know, all of these side effects or all of these, you know, these things that I'm taking are not really making it better, you know, and so people start to open up and start to look for new ways, look for new alternatives, look for different answers and different guidance and different support. And, you know, I keep kind of saying like people's realities will wake them up. Like people's realities are doing exactly what they need to do so that the person itself can become more open and can wake up, you know.
Exactly.
Um, it's a lot easier than convincing someone not to do something or not to take something. It's like
Exactly.
respecting everybody's journey will
Mhm.
allow that person to open up and wake up in the way that they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't impose on somebody else's reality. I mean, we're there if somebody asks for support, but we don't go and try to convince people or force them on. Everybody has their
Hmm.
plan and their, yeah, journey, indeed.
Right, right. It's a lot easier to just let everyone be and respect everybody. And when you do that, I feel like, people are going to be much more open to coming back to you for support or for questions. Like they're not going to come back to a person that's been nagging and forcing them to do something or believe in something. Like every single person I feel will feel would be annoyed. It feels annoyed when someone does that to us. So we wouldn't go to that person, for support. Like we would go to the person that honored us and respected us, no matter where we were in our journey.
Yeah.
And I think that's key because everyone is opening up in a way that is best and in the way that they need to, and just being open and respectful of their journey is going to allow us to support them best when they're ready. When that person is open and ready and comes to us or asks us something, we're going to be there and we're going to support and we're going to provide with whatever's highest. And it's a lot easier. It's so much easier
Yeah, when there is no
to just,
resistance and when the
mm,
person is ready.
yeah, yeah. And it's, when you said that when there's no resistance, sometimes that person, though, in order to get there, will go through a lot of things. It will go through a lot of hard, challenging, breakdowns. And as much as the ego wants to save and wants to prevent that and wants to grab on or like
Mhm.
change that person's realities, it doesn't work that way. That person chose that reality for a reason, and the more that we just hold them in the highest form of love when that happens, that'll support them way more than trying to save, because then they'll be resisting it. And then it's this whole battle and it's exhausting. And then it's like, no, just let go, just open up and again, hold the highest frequency of love for that person. And when that person's ready, they'll come. They'll turn around or they'll come back, and you'll be able to support them much more.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have gone through this savior distortion, the distortion of the crisis consciousness, actually wanting to be the savior of everybody until you realize it's a distortion, you clear the distortion, and then yeah, you come to the space you were describing exactly. Just observe and assist if you are asked to. Otherwise, yeah, people go through what they're supposed to go through, what they need to
Hmm.
go through.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. We all have that inside of us. So at some level, we've all wanted to do that, and we've all done that. And then we come to a space where you start to see, oh, wait a minute, is this really my purpose? Is this really my role? Where am I still the savior complex, carrying that savior complex? Where do I need to step back? What's appropriate? All of these different things. Um, and I feel like that's when a person starts to really open up to even their own self of power and their own sense of like empowerment of not needing or not waiting for somebody else to save. It's like I feel like every person wants to find that for themselves and wants to really feel that I can do this. I have it in me. There's something more inside of me. I'm not small. I'm not a victim. I'm not powerless anymore. And by each and every single one of us just kind of stepping back and respecting everyone's journey, I feel like it that person is much more able to just come into that frequency and come into that realization. And even them being able to ask for support, you know, asking for support, asking for different kinds of support is huge also for each person because we're not used to that either. And so, yeah, our voice, how the expression, our communication comes through. Um, breaking down is so supportive. When you get to that space where you're just can't take it anymore and you break down, a lot of things come through from that.
Yeah.
And allowing that person the opportunity to have that experience, I feel is huge. It's really important.
Yeah. And especially for some of us, there is no other way to crack your heart open but to go through the traumatic experiences and to break down. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Um, and even now, when you say that, I feel like things are becoming softer now. So as I'm feeling like as we continue to ascend and rise in frequency, the traumatic experiences that we were used to and we lived for so long, they're not going to be as harsh anymore. It's like it's going to be a little softer. Yeah, there's going to be distortions to work through. There's going to be some things to clear out. There's an enormous amount of karmic stuff, but it's going to be a lot softer. It's not going to be as physically intense. Not to say that your body's not going to go through physical intense because it will, but I feel like the physical traumatic experiences that we used to exchange with one another, I feel like that's changing too. I just feel like this everything's becoming softer
Lighter.
and lighter. Yes. So, and even right now, it's like the sensitivity that we're going to start experiencing, yeah, it will be quite extreme, but that will allow us to feel things quicker instead of having to go through like so much torture and torment like before. It's like before we used to have to go through that because we were so insensitive and we were so disconnected from the body that right now, um, just a word or just a sound can trigger so much inside of you and can allow you the opportunity to feel everything at a much deeper level instead of having to go through a physical like punch in the gut experience kind of thing. I see that. I see that more and more, like everything's becoming a little softer and this is why a lot of things are I'm hearing a lot of people being triggered a lot by like little things, like literally somebody said this or a word or a sound or a song or something. Like people are becoming very triggered by almost anything. And while it may be a little scary because it's like, wait, I wasn't used to be triggered or I didn't used to be triggered like this before. It's like, wait, no, this is good. You want things to come up in a kind of softer way so that you can feel more and not have this physical punching experience anymore, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm seeing that just in the past couple of days with like people sharing stuff. It's like, oh, this is really interesting now. Emotionally, everything's coming up to the surface. The emotional triggers are everywhere. Everyone is just being like, it's like a short fuse, I feel. It's just trigger after trigger after trigger, but that's because emotionally your body is just waking up and saying, you gotta feel this now. You don't have to wait for the whole house to collapse anymore. Just a little, crack in the wall, you explode. People are just feeling so much. And this is a really good thing. Like finally we're feeling stuff. Finally we're allowing ourselves to just open our hearts in ways that we never have before. It was so scary to open up ourselves in that way and open up our hearts so much. It was very traumatic. And now it's like I have no choice. I'm feeling so much. I have to honor this feeling right now. So it's been beautiful to see just how emotional, how so many people around me are starting to feel so much more.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
I see also a lot of softness, as you said, and also I really see the humanity, the humanity coming out. Really, the softness, the real care for each other, and it's beautiful. It's just wonderful.
Yes. That the feminine aspect that was so suppressed and I see like bars. We just kept it inside and we kept it in our jail cell and we didn't let it come out. We didn't we were so afraid of letting it be seen. Everything was just masculine, strong, you know. I can do everything. I don't need anybody. It's that coming back into that softness of this aspect that is inside of every single one of us. This pure love, this pure openness. Um, and you're right, we're coming back into having more connection with that aspect, having more connection with our feminine, divine feminine, the emotional aspect, the intuitive aspect, the soft, the compassionate, all of these different aspects that have been inside of us and just we haven't allowed it to come out. They're coming up so strong, especially because I feel like people are starting to see so much harshness and so much separation and the judgment and all of those things open up your heart, which is part of the reason why, I share it's like sometimes you do need to see a lot of separation so that it opens up your heart.
Yeah.
And it's going to become more visible. There's going to be a lot more things that may not be so easy to see, but it's important to see them so that we no longer create them unconsciously.
Yeah. Some things have to be really intense
Yes.
in order to be seen and for us to be different.
Mhm, mhm.
Do you notice also change in the people you work with? Like what is required?
Say that again, the last question.
Do you see also change in the people you work with? I mean, change in your clientele, so to say? Do people
Oh,
require different support now?
I see it with everyone because it's like some people pay me to work with them and some people don't pay me to work with them. It's like I work with everybody everyone that I have more of a connection and like have an constant contact. There's so much that I do kind of in the field. And I'm seeing, but I see it across the board. Um, I see the intensity of change becoming stronger. So with some people, it's much more physical. The physical sensations, the upgrades, um, the activation of the fears are a little stronger as well. So a lot of people have been talking about anxiety, um, being very, very strong right now. Um, so that's been kind of a theme that I've been seeing. A lot of people are feeling things that they haven't felt in a long time. So a lot of things are coming back for them to see and feel. Um, in the circles that I serve, kind of just in my day-to-day conversation, I see a lot more openness. Just people being more open. Um, even like to the energy world, to just in different ways, the things that they say just clue me into, oh, this person's more open or this person's opening up. It's like it's so cool to see where I'm in my mind thinking they're not. And then all of a sudden they say something or they do something and I'm like, oh no, they're opening up. Um, and it's those people, like I've known them for a while. I've known them for a long time, neighbors or even like family members. So for me to be able to see that, I'm like, oh, this is a really good sign. People are really opening up. Things are shifting. Um, the old world is no longer controlling. The old world is no longer tight and rigid inside. People are breaking away from that. People are breaking out of that box and out of those old mentalities and those old belief systems. And I've been seeing that a lot more and more and more and more and more. Um, especially here, being in Mexico, being back in Mexico, and knowing how, traditional and religious and all of these different things that I've known that, we know, um, are just part of the culture. I'm seeing so many people just opening up. So many people just doing things different. So many more people like into yoga, into meditation, into spiritual, like the energy of spirit. All of these different things they're opening up to crystals. Um, all of these different things that I'm like, finally, it's happening and it's growing and it's just it's neat, it's exciting because again, it's like this it's organic. People are just opening up. Um, there's more people, and it's funny, I was talking to somebody the other day and she was mentioning, and I hadn't actually thought about that, but it's true. There's a lot more people from other places of other places, other states, and other countries. And they're more open. And so they come here to kind of a closed society, and then this closed society starts to open up and starts to become curious, starts to become more willing to allow and accept new ideas, new ways of doing things, new belief, like new everything. And when she said that, I was like, oh, that's so true. Because, even like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it wasn't like that here. It was just very, you didn't see as many people from other places, from other countries, from other places around the country. And now there's so much more, so much more. Um, and even people from other countries, which was not very no like yeah, there's always been, but you can tell that there's way more. There's way more people from Asia, from, you know, all of these other places that absolutely, I mean, the whole energy of the city just opens up and people become much more open to new ideas, new beliefs. So that's the biggest thing for me is like seeing how much people being much more open. In my other circles where people are already open, I feel like they're much more allowing, like much more surrendered to the process. They're not fighting this anymore as they used to or as before.
Mm,
And
beautiful.
even with somebody else, it was like I don't have a choice anymore. I could feel that if I resist, it's worse. And I could feel that if I'm opened and I continue to open up and breathe and relax, it's a lot easier to go through this. And I'm just in the background going, finally, it's shifting. People are shifting and becoming more open to this process. And I'm seeing that a lot more. little by little, it's like the control is not working, the trying to resist, um, makes it harder and it makes it more painful too. And people are becoming much more open to, I don't need to. I can just relax. I can breathe into this. I don't have to resist this anymore. I don't have to be afraid of that which I don't know anymore. I'm gonna be okay. It's like this deepening of trust, I feel. People are becoming much more trusting and trustful that everything that's happening within their bodies and in their realities is for a purpose and it's supporting them. And I feel that is a huge shift in consciousness, where before everything new and strange was very scary. And we fought it and we just resisted it for so much and for so long. And now it's like people are choosing to be more open to that, and people are choosing to not let fear take over, and just like feeling deeper, honoring their journey, honoring the process, the body, everything that the body goes through. And again, I feel like that's huge. That's a huge shift in consciousness for people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And do you work with the land also?
Do I work with?
The land?
I'm not sure what you mean.
With the land, do you work also with the land? I mean, where you are, with the grid or
Oh,
portals?
man. That's a great question. Because it's more like my field does it so much consciously. I know it's happening, but I'm not super conscious of it, if that makes any sense at all. So the other day when was it? A couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, when the my internet went down, and I then realized that the whole internet grid had collapsed. I had gone through like a deep, intense um, stomach and gut clearing. And when I found out that that had happened, I knew that I had been clearing a lot from the lower realms from my body, which translated to the actual land, the actual ground. And when I heard, oh, the internet grid collapsed, I'm thinking that was what was happening in my body. All of these grids and all of these different systems collapsed inside of me. And then lo and behold, the actual grids of I thought it was just a city. It ended up being the whole country. I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty interesting. Um, because you hold everything is in your body, and the more connected you are to your body, the more you can start to feel that everything outside of you is affected. So it's kind of what I mean by my field is just much more consciously doing it. I'm more conscious of doing it within my physical body, so when that happens, it's like supporting the body, which becomes, Gaia, supporting anything and supporting it in whatever way it needs to, and then just allowing everything to fall, and it's just like, oh, the grids are no longer being supported. The old gridding system just it collapsed inside of me, and so the my physical world had no foundation for it anymore. So it just collapsed, and it felt like a really big reset and a really big shift because I felt it and I continue to feel it, and obviously it's a never-ending process. But the body, it's almost like what I mentioned with like letting your body do what it needs to do and just keep continuing to support it. I'm not actually conscious until something comes or something like something kind of like brings me to the attention of it. It's this continual process of surrendering and allowing the body to do exactly what I need to do. Um, if I said that right, allowing the body to do exactly what it needs to do. I will be guided. So the other day, um, when was it? A couple of months ago, I realized that in my park nearby, there's a zoo, and I think it was maybe the week after that, I was guided to put all of the pieces of all of these broken off Andoras and um, just quartz crystals. I was like, put them all around the zoo. So there I am, putting all of these tiny pieces of crystals that I had in Andoras on grid points all around the zoo. Um, and I'm just like, oh, because I had a really deep connection with, well, I love animals. I have a really huge connection with animals. And the first time I went and I saw them, if they're in cages and you feel so much, you're like, I connected with them so much too because it's like, that's me. That's us. We're in this cage. We've been living in this cage without even knowing it. So just feeling into that got me really emotional and started crying and crying and crying. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, there's a purpose for that. Yes, feel it. In fact, the words were, it's Noah's Ark. They're in Noah's Ark. They're just waiting for us. They're waiting for the storm to pass. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. But how can I connect more with them and how can I support them? And so the next couple of I don't know, days or weeks, it was like get all of your tiny pieces of crystals and just put them all around the zoo. And I'm like, that's perfect. Yes. So I don't know how long it was after that that I took my little tiny pieces of crystals and there I am just feeling into the spots and feeling into where to put them. So yeah, sometimes it will come through like that. Um, a lot of what I do is, and I mean, it doesn't matter where I do it, but I, I intend to go to that park as often as I can. I mean, sometimes it's not as often as I would like, but going often to that park, it's a huge, beautiful park, tons of trees, tons of land, and connecting with the nature and the animals and the birds and just everything that I'm able to connect to, again, consciously and unconsciously at some level. Um, And then it's like you take that energy and you take that frequency, and then everywhere you go, you're just kind of like planting seeds, just like everywhere. It's like you're showering that peaceful frequency and that energy all around you, like just everywhere you go, with everyone you meet. Um, and just going like going with the flow, going with the flow with what you're guided in that moment and what to do and how to do it. So how about you? Where are you, by the way?
In on the in France, actually in the south, and it is so interesting because actually I have a zoo 10 minutes away from me, and I did almost the same thing, but with petals, with hibiscus petals, walking around the zoo. We really look like crazy people, I tell you. People are looking at you, but you do what you're guided to do. So you did your crystals. I was guided to pick up hibiscus flowers and do the same. And the crying, I mean, when we moved here, I was avoiding to walk nearby because every time I would burst in tears. So I was avoiding the place like for 3 months. I was really avoiding it. I couldn't stand getting triggered by the sadness and everything that was over flooding me. And yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's why I was grinning while we were speaking because I had absolutely very, very similar experience here. Yeah, with the zoo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so how long have you been in France?
8 months. 8 months,
Oh,
something like that.
wow. It's not
Yeah.
long.
No, not at all. And it was like, yeah, it was meant to be. Basically, I was shown that my contract with the place where we used to live was had finished already 2 years ago. But then I had still too much fear to work through, so I asked for a bit more time. So I stayed longer there. But it was really pushing it because things were starting to really not feel right and to fall apart. And I was like, okay, better close that contract yourself and leave before, as you said, the whole house falls on your head. And I thought actually that I would go to either Ireland or Scotland or the UK, Avalon, that corner, and basically pretty much 4 weeks because before I had to leave the old place where we used to live, that came up absolutely surprisingly out of nowhere. But
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
things have been magically aligning.
So you were in another part of Europe.
Yeah, I was in Germany. I was in Germany.
Oh.
Yeah, and me, my kid, and our two bunnies over 1,100 kilometers drive with a little car, and everything was just really divinely supportive because the journey was miraculously smooth, and we found our way. And we didn't have actually internet working for the last half an hour before we found the place, and miraculously the GPS was still working, and we were having actually internet. So it was quite an experience. Quite an experience. Yeah. And of course, it was very scary in advance, alone with a child you're responsible for, and a new country, and you don't know anybody, and of course, you don't have money. Yes, we all know how it goes, but here we are. Yeah,
Wow. Good for
yeah,
you.
the things we do.
Oh man, the things we do. Well, and even when you said the contract had ended,
Yeah.
two years, and it was like those 2 years, it was just like it's like um tying loose knots and just like working through different things
Yeah, basically,
to
I was
align
shown that it was
everything.
over. Yeah, exactly. And I was supposed to leave. I mean, basically, I was leaving my house at the time, but then the fear was too much. I mean, 3 days I couldn't sleep. I was losing it from fear, and I was like, had a chat with my universe, and I was like, okay, listen, how about you give you give me a bit of rope here. So yeah,
Wow. Well,
yeah,
and even it even feels significant because I can relate to when you know when the reality is no longer, you
it's
know
closing.
when
Yeah,
you're meant to transition,
yeah,
but it still can take time, 1 to 2 years, to like move fully out into a whole new reality. Because
yeah,
even when I look back, it's like that's happened to me several times where it's like, I know this is done. I
yeah,
know, you know, this is it. This is no longer aligned.
yeah.
But you still have to work through all of these different things in order to fully let, let, let that reality, sorry, let that reality end and close itself out so that you can move into a new one, you
Yeah,
know.
and
And I
you have to go to places, you have to meet certain people, you have to just do specific things in order for the contract to be really fulfilled and close out and the timeline goes out. Yeah.
yes, I feel a lot of people mm, sometimes forget that sometimes, whatever it is, moving out of a job or even finding a new one or moving out of a certain location or reality or breaking off with someone, it's like the moment you recognize that and okay, this is it. We gotta end this. Sometimes you feel like like, oh, right here, right now, or within the month or 2 months, I gotta do this. And some things do take time. Sometimes there is like a 1 year, 2 year process to get everything in alignment, just like you said, meet the people, make the connections, work through deeper ends of this, feel deeper stuff. All of these different things are still needing to be done where you are, where, no matter, whatever that may be, so things can move you out of that. So while we like to just, kind of talk about instant and everything being so fast and everything being instantaneous, sometimes it's like, yes, but there are some things that do take a little bit longer to just work through and clear and realign. And so, for anybody that's in that process, just know that, um, it's normal. It's normal to be in that reality a little bit longer. It's normal to be there, even a year or two, just working and clearing things out. Um, and knowing that everything's opening up for you, everything's aligning for you. The people that you were meant to meet, the location where you are right now, it's like everything was in the cooker, it was being stirred inside of you in those 2 years for you to just land. You just land, like you said, miraculously, and like everything just aligns and the people show up, the location shows up, everything on the road just kind of opens up. It's a lot smoother. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Takes
How do you
bravery.
feel there? Sorry,
Takes
takes.
guts.
Oh goodness. We like to say it takes balls. It takes a lot of balls.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and that's one of the things that takes a while to activate too, the courage and the confidence to just move. Because in our mind, we're like, yeah, we're ready to move, we're ready to get out of here. But our whole body needs
Yeah,
to be in congruency with that and needs to be fully anchored with that for everything to move us out of that reality.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm curious as to how it feels for you right now being in this new location,
Oh,
especially
it's
with
fantastic.
some of the things that I've been kind of hearing. What's going on in France for you?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's absolutely magical. Absolutely magical. I mean, the lightness in comparison to Germany, it is indescribable. There is no comparison. I mean, it's people are so chilled and easygoing and polite and nice and really amazing, unbelievable.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's funny because I have a lot of people connected to Germany,
Mm.
cousins, um, distant people that moved there. All of them just moved there
Okay.
all of a sudden. Yeah, yeah,
Moved to
yeah.
Germany.
I know. Sorry,
They moved to Germany, you said?
they moved to Germany. I had a cousin move there a couple of, was it last month? Her
Oh,
brother
wow.
was already there and has been living there for a couple years. And then two couples on my brother-in-law's family also moved there within the last year or two.
Interesting.
And yeah, it was really very, very interesting. Just a lot of German connections, a lot of people moving there. Um, and it feels significant. It just feels like some people are meant to be there to just clear a whole bunch of stuff, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. It's, it was quite difficult, the energy. It was very heavy. It was very heavy when we left it.
How long were
It
you
was,
there?
oh, on and off 20 years.
Oh,
So my
wow.
conscious life. Yeah, it's
Okay.
been a while.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of where how long I was in the US too, for 25.
Did you move
And then
recently
moved.
also?
So I moved, so I was born in Mexico, and then I moved when I was 9 to the US, and then I lived there 20 plus years, and then finally moved back to Mexico.
Oh, okay. It's been a
Yeah,
while as
yeah.
well.
So recent, yeah, yeah, I was there for a while, but there was a huge purpose, and now after having moved away, it's like, oh, now I see. Now I see why it was so important. Now I see why, and I'm, still very connected. I have my brother and sister up there. Um, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of codes that we activate in all of these different places, and then we're meant to move because then we have to like spread those codes and spread that information to different parts, different locations. Even if it's just you moving inside within the city, but there's a lot of movement, a lot of movement. Um, of course, we're seeing a lot of physical movement where people are physically moving out of countries, out of, states and all of these. There's so much movement right now. So a lot of people are traveling too, I see. A lot of people are traveling. In fact, every time I look at my Facebook, it's like someone's traveling to Europe. Tons of people are traveling to Europe, tons and tons and tons. And I'm like, that is fascinating. There's definitely a lot of things, you know, that they may not be
Yeah.
conscious of, but that they're doing. They're going to Europe for very specific reasons, and then coming back to the US or wherever they are. Um, and then we're just continuing to spread, continuing to just open, open, open more and more and more, inside of us, and then with every person that we come in contact with. It's the part of like the ripple effect and everything that happens. It's fascinating just how much movement I'm seeing right now. So many people traveling, so many people moving, so many people all across the
Yeah, I
board.
see definitely a lot of movement, physical movement.
Physical, a lot of physical movement. Um, and a lot of people, for like, I don't know, 2 years, 2020 to 2022 was like everyone was kind of in this closed, locked up or whatever the case may be. And now it's like we want freedom. We want to move. We want to do all the things that we did not do for 2 years. And then it's like all this incredible amount of movement,
Yeah,
freedom, having the liberty to do and go and experience all of these things that I'm seeing right now. And it's
absolutely.
unlocking so much for so many people. Um, in the next 2 years, I feel like, oh, they're going to be opening up and they're going to be waking up and they're just going to be just blossoming in so many different ways to what's happening, to what's to more of the changes and the shifts and just seeing more things. So that's cool. It's exciting. It's all everything is exciting, when as you open yourself up and feel that there's so much underneath what
Yeah,
you can kind of, what's happening in media, news, whatever the case, there's so much more, and just feeling into that, just brings you into the sense of, it's a lot happening for us. Everything is supporting us. Everything is just
let me just
laying
put
it
the light
out.
on. Keep on going.
Yes, I can't see you.
There I
There you are.
am. Yeah, yeah.
That
Now
was a
I'm
cool
busy.
light show.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Extremely
now it's
interesting times. That's for sure.
absolutely
And, and it feels like now the fun begins.
right.
Yeah,
Now it's the the exciting part as you continue to open up. There's so much magic and so much opportunities, like you said at the beginning. There's so many opportunities right now, so many doors opening, and obviously old ones closing. Um, but this is, we get to play in it now. We get to just play and have fun. Like, finally, we get to have fun. Finally, we get to experience what's really truly available here as, you know, as a higher conscious being. There's so much, so much.
Yeah, it was last week. I was going, something came up, and eh, I got angry because I was like, oh, come on, again, it's getting boring. I just said it's getting boring, all the purging and the suffering and the fears it's just getting boring. We've done it all. Enough. Where's the fun? And 2 minutes after, reality shift. And something else came in. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. Claim it. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so much. Um, like you said at the beginning, so much shifting, so much is shifting so fast right now. We don't have to sit as long as our mind wants us to sit in the old anymore. You
Yeah.
know, there's a purpose for that, and that will continue to, serve a lot of like clearing, but sitting in it and for however long and just perpetuating it is
Yeah.
not
Useful.
what we need to do anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Wonderful. Mm.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Is there anything else you'd like me to share?
I thought that it was very important that you talked about the body and that you stressed that everything is in our physical body. I mean, the grids for the reality the earth will walk on are held in our muscles, the neural pathways, are the energetic centers. I mean, really everything is in the body. We do birth our new realities, our bellies blow up. So yeah, everything is inside the body. And it is very important to just be said and explained to people, and that the body knows what it's doing. You can always connect to the consciousness of your body and ask, body, what do you need? And you will get an answer. Answer always comes. You may not like it, but there will be an answer. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, and even with that, the body is becoming a little bit louder and becoming a little bit more stricter in
Mhm.
what it needs, and there's a moment where you're like, no, this is not, what you need right now. This is not highest. This is not supportive right now. This is it. This other thing is, you need to do this or you need to do that, and continuing to surrender to that guidance and continuing to not let the ego take over, because the ego thinks it knows everything and it knows best and it knows, and you can't, it wants to continue to control. Um, but the more that you surrender and the more that you go deeper into the body, the more you're going to start to see the difference of, oh, this is ego. Oh, this is body. Body is completely opposite. Like what you said, you're not going to like it because the ego is
Mhm.
telling you the complete opposite thing. That's the easier and more comfortable and in your comfort zone. And this is what you're, you know, used to. This is what you're used to. But higher self is like,
Remember,
no, no, no. Now it's complete opposite. Now you got to do everything that you never wanted to do, that you never wanted to feel, that you never wanted to go into, that you never wanted to own. And it's uncomfortable. It's a process. It takes guts. Um, but we're more and more and more of us are ready for that. We're done. We're tired. We're fed up. We're exhausted. And in that we have no choice. When we're so tired, there's no energy of fighting us anymore. That's why we get so damn tired all the time because we have to. We have to let all that energy go so we have nowhere to hold on anymore and just surrender and just be free and fly and just continue to honor everything that your body's guiding you to and telling you to do, guiding you in the direction that you are ready for. We're ready. We're so ready for so much more and for all of these new magical realities. But it's so funny to think that we're so used to the trauma and we're so used to the suffering. We're so used to the old cycles. I mean, that was comfort. Pain
yeah,
is becomes comfort. Suffering becomes comfort. Trauma
yeah,
becomes our
addiction.
comfort.
3D was an addiction.
It was an addiction. It was obsession. We couldn't let go of it for so long.
Yeah.
And our sensitivity increasing is huge because now you can actually feel how actually heavy and painful it is. And so going into like the pain at a deep level, you then start to see what the hell have I been allowing all this time? Like you finally wake up to all the things that you've been allowing and all the things that you didn't see before. And that's a huge thing for every single one of us because then we start to change. Then we start to see, wait, this isn't fun anymore. This self-inflicting trauma, pain, suffering is not who I am, is not what I came here to perpetuate. It's not what anybody should go through anymore. And so just, opening up more and more to that and just feeling deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper that is what allows you to no longer allow it and no longer create it and live it. And then we get to just feel the magic, the beauty, the light. And it's like, oh, this is what I really, really wanted all my life. This is what I've been kind of waiting for and asking um, for a really long time, but I didn't know how to get it. I didn't know how to get out of where I was and into where I really wanted to be. And just like you said, everything is in the body. Everything. If you forget absolutely everything, it's just like, just remember that your body is everything right now. Your physical body holds absolutely everything that you are, that you want, everything that you don't, everything that you're experiencing right now. It's at some level in somewhere within your physical body. And the more that we open up to it and shift, have this laser focus and just continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper inside, you're going to start to see how everything starts to shift just miraculously and magically. because your body already knows how to change everything and how to recreate everything and how to reprogram everything. So we become the follow the leader, follow your higher self light body now. You know, like becoming humble enough to actually just do what it says and trust in it. You know, it's huge. It's a process. And I just feel more and more and more of us are finally doing that. Just coming into the, you know what, I don't know it all. My head doesn't know it all. My head doesn't know anything. I'm done. Let's just go deeper into the body. Let's go just connect to the body and just let the body do its thing. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much. If you want, you can guide us through a meditation or a process if you feel like it.
Sure. I don't know how long we've been. I mean, I know Todd was
A
like,
little
you
bit.
take whatever. Are
No,
we
a
good?
little
Are you
bit.
good?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, we can do a mini. Let's go into the body.
Let's go into
Dive
the
into the
body.
body. Let's go into the body. Yes. So if you are able to, for anybody that's watching, everyone that's watching still here, if you're able to close your eyes, highly invite you to. But if you're not able to, that's okay too. Intention, just your willingness to just follow along is all that matters. So as we close our eyes, open your body and just take some breaths. And just listen to your breath, to your breathing. Become one with your breath. Breathing light through your breath. Allowing a deeper flow of energy and of your light through every part of your body. And just relax. Relaxing into your heart space. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck. Relax your head. Relax your arms. Relax your stomach. Relax your navel. Relax your root, your hips. And just allow that frequency to run through your legs, down your feet. circling this energy through your field and through your body. This is who we are. We're energy in motion. We're movement. We're flow. We are change. And just opening up to that. We are meant to move. We are meant to change. We are meant to flow and fly and float. And we're just going to deepen our connection to our body, feeling anywhere we're resisting, any heaviness, any tightness, any cords that we're still hanging on to, anything we're escaping from or running away from. Just feel that energy in your body. And just breathe. Continuing to breathe through your stomach, through your chest, opening up more and more and more this beautiful portal and vortex of energy for things to move through quick at light speed. And just continuing to surrender to whatever comes up, however you're feeling right now, whatever's happening within your physical body. It's all supporting. It's all clearing. It's widening our perceptions. It's expanding our consciousness. Just continuing to feel. Anywhere there's a little bit of fear of what this is, what's maybe like fear of going higher, fear of letting go, fear of the unknown, fear of what you can't see, can't control. And just continue to breathe. Just let everything loosen up. Let everything continue to move and shift and realign. And trust. Just feel the energy of comfort, of support. You're in the divine, loving arms, divine mother, divine father's arms, fully supported now, fully guided. Allow yourself to be supported in this way. You're already enough. And anywhere you still think or believe that you're not, just breathe it out. And just continuing to loosen up, release the tightness, opening up more and more and more, letting your higher self light body take over, and just being present and listening and allowing. This doesn't have to make any sense. Just keep opening up and trusting. And so allowing your beautiful light to keep going deeper, sinking in every cell in your body, anchoring even deeper through the many processes that you'll be guided to. And just keep breathing. So taking a nice full breath deeper into your body, deeper into your bones. Continuing to stay present and open. Continuing to surrender. And when you're ready, you can start to just move your body if you're guided. Open your eyes. Be here with us. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. This was very powerful, actually. Very powerful.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, I like to keep things a little simple and just connecting with the body, deepening the flow and the connection to the breath. You know, it feels simple, too simple sometimes,
you.
and yet it's everything. It's more than we sometimes think and more than we sometimes allow. So thank you for this invitation and for everybody that was able to do it with us.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for everything, for the whole talk, for sharing. It was great. It was really good.
Thank you. Yeah.
And
Thank you for going
we
with the
should do
flow with me and just having me on. Thank you for inviting me. Truly appreciate.
No, I appreciate you,
Love.
darling. We will definitely do it again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ah,
Mhm.
feels
Thank
good.
you.
Feels good.
It does indeed. Mhm. Thank you. And have a lovely evening, I guess, on your side. What time is it? It's 1:45 here.
So it's noonish
Oh,
afternoon.
okay.
Yeah. So we're probably about 7
Okay.
hours or difference. 7, 8.